Donald J. Trump, man.
What's one of your biggest issues?
Probably going to be inflation, because I sell T-shirts.
Your T-shirts are made in the USA?
No, my blanks, no. See, that's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Like if I'm buying 1,000 shirts from China and there's a tariff on it, I'm paying the tariff.
No, whoever's getting it imported in is going to pay the tariff.
Jolly. So I'm trying to explain.
Who pays the tariff?
They're paying the tariff.
Do you think that? Do you believe that? I sell you something for $10, right? You're going to sell it to him for $20.
Exactly.
But then I make you pay me $15 for it. Are you still going to sell it to him for $20?
Am I going to sell it to him for $20?
If I raise the price $5?
Oh, it's going to have to go up.
Right. So
yeah, the consumer foots the bill.
This dude just had his entire worldview shattered in 52 seconds. You can literally watch his brain trying to process that when costs go up, prices go up, and we pay for it. Not China, not some magical trade fairy. Regular Americans buying t-shirts and groceries and literally everything else. And bro sells t-shirts. His whole business model depends on cheap imports, and he still didn't get it until this exact moment. Like he genuinely thought foreign countries just eat the cost out of the kindness of their hearts? Here's what kills me. This isn't complicated economics. This is supply chain 101. If I pay more to buy something, I'm selling it for more. That's how business works. But he was so caught up in the culture war nonsense that he forgot basic math exists. And now his profit margins are gone. His customers are going to bounce when prices spike. And he's standing there like, wait, I did this to myself?
MAGA, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'm just going to lay it out there. All these tariffs that you guys are hoping for, that Trump says is going to pay for everything, and that was literally his response to somebody talking about childcare, right? He thinks it's going to pay for everything. Or he thinks that you believe him when he says it's going to pay for everything. Regardless, the big corporations are already making adjustments. The people who are going to suffer are the small business people. So just keep in mind, what you voted for was the survival of corporations and the demise of small business. Well done.
The sarcasm is lethal and deserved. You voted for the survival of corporations and the demise of small business? Well done. See, big corporations can absorb these hits. They've got cash reserves, they've got leverage with suppliers. They can wait out the storm. But small businesses, they're living order to order, and when you suddenly need to double your cash on hand just to pick up inventory you already paid for, you're done, finished, bankrupt. What's wild is they genuinely thought they were voting for themselves, for the little guy, for Main Street over Wall Street. Meanwhile, they just handed every advantage to Amazon and Walmart while kneecapping their own ability to compete. It's almost impressive how completely they misunderstood who benefits from this chaos.
I know this might be tough to hear, but crashing the stock market on purpose, it's a bad idea. And it's also not what Trump is doing, because he doesn't have a grand scheme. He's not playing chess while the rest of the world plays checkers. He's just making bad decisions, and you guys are confused by it. I know it's hard to watch your idols fall from the heavens and splat on the ground, but that's what you're watching. So I understand the impulse to want to come up with a theory where Trump is still in control of everything, but the truth is, he's not. And for the first time, it's affecting you directly, and it's making you feel icky. Now you know how we've felt for the last 10 years. So I would say sorry that you're going through this, but I'm not.
Zero sympathy, and honestly, valid. We spent years explaining how this works, how trade works, how tariffs work, and got called sheep, got mocked, got told we just didn't understand the master plan. Well, now it's affecting bank accounts, and suddenly they want compassion? Nah. You don't get to spend years dismissing everyone's warnings and then demand we feel bad when those exact warnings come true. This is the find out part of fuck around and find out, and it's happening in real time. The tragedy is all the collateral damage. The employees who didn't vote for this, the families depending on these businesses, entire supply chains of innocent people suffering, but the MAGA business owners crying on social media? They made their bed, consequences meet choices.
Donald Trump just cost me $20 million or whatever he did.
What the is going on with our country?
Maybe don't be on the golf course.
Guys, why am I poor?
So Trump just put 104% tariff on everything coming in from China that started last night. So let's explain how this might play out for somebody who ordered goods in China recently. So 3 to 6 months ago, you sent between $50,000 and $1 million to China to buy the goods. That 104% tariff means in order to pick them up, you have to come up with another $50,000 to $1 million to pick them up at the docks, which literally doubles your costs of goods, okay? The real problem is that goes into your inventory and your carrying costs. And a lot of people buy these things from overseas, then warehouse them, hold them, make the money back. They're going to have to get a loan or fire somebody or do something to find this money to gather this inventory. So the real bottleneck that's being created is a huge cash flow crunch for any business that needs imported components, parts, or even finished products for their business model. They don't have an option to source them locally. They already spent the money to buy them in China. And now in a giant tax, the largest tax increase in U.S. history, that money's being sucked right out of the average small business person's pocket. And the bank is probably not going to write them a loan because the cash flow problems are compounding. Also, we have a general downturn going on in the economy. So what Trump just did was literally shoot the American economy in the head. And over the next few weeks, you're going to see these tariffs play out into massive turmoil where people simply won't pick up items at the port because they don't have the other $500,000 that they need. They can't secure a loan for it. And there's no business model that works. And oh yeah, by the way, there's no domestic supplier of these things. And nobody's going to build these factories while the man in charge keeps saying, but the tariffs might go away because I might renegotiate things. If they do that, then any investment you put into new production or new factories isn't worth it anyhow. So that's our problem, kids.
Let me break down this nightmare scenario. Small business owners sent money to China months ago, sometimes 50 grand, sometimes $1 million to buy inventory. That inventory is sitting at the port right now, and they're being told, you need to pay us another matching amount to pick it up, and they don't have it. Banks won't loan because the economy's tanking. They can't sell existing inventory because spending is down. They can't leave it at the port because storage fees are piling up. It's a death spiral with no exit. And there's no domestic alternative. You can't snap your fingers and manufacture in America. Building factories takes years and massive investment. And who's investing when policy changes every 5 minutes? Based on social media posts? Nobody. So these businesses are stuck, completely trapped, watching their life's work dissolve because someone decided to play economic roulette with an entire country. Brutal doesn't even cover it.
What was that?
If you make a product in America, you don't actually have to pay the tariff.
Oh, well, that was a big lie, and he knows it's a big lie, and I can prove it using an easy example, this 100% American-made Florida tangerine right here. See, Charlie is counting on you not thinking about the fact that, yeah, if something's 100% made in America, that exact item won't get a tariff on it, but the entire supply chain and how it's made and all the materials and all of the other parts of it are going to go up in price, right? Let's take a look at this Florida tangerine, right? It grows on a tree, you pick it off. Why would there be a tax on that? Why would there be a tariff on that? Well, what about the hoses for the irrigation to bring water to this tangerine? What about the tractor that's used as these are put into the back of a tractor and then driven off to the supply area so they can be packaged? What about the bags, the netting that these are put in, right? Is the netting made in America? You know, when you buy tangerines at the grocery store and they have that little plastic netting around it, 10%. It went up at least 10%, the price of just that netting alone. Where's the label made that goes on that netting, Charlie? And then let's go talk about the rest of the supply chain. The truck that took that you needed to go put this tangerine at the grocery store. Every single part of that truck, were they all made in America? Because now if anything goes wrong with that truck, that part's going to need to get replaced, which means maintenance costs are going to go up because that part goes up. So now they're going to go pass that on to the actual seller of the tangerine, who's going to pass it on to the buyer. Once we get to the grocery store itself, are all the light bulbs made in America, Charlie? All those fluorescent light bulbs hanging over everybody's head. What about the shelving units? What about the refrigeration units that are used in the produce section, Charlie? What about all of the other different parts of that building itself of the grocery store? Is there anything that might need to be replaced in the near future that isn't made in America? Because all of them went up at least 10% because we put a 10% tariff on the entire world at the minimum, and at the maximum, it is percentages that we can't even imagine because they were imagined by ChatGPT as they were handed off to college students that you spent the last 4 years distracting from going into their classes while you stood out in a tent and yelled, no, it's the wokes and DEI that are causing all these problems, Charlie. And Charlie, I'm even talking about something very simple like a tangerine that's grown right here in Florida. I'm not even getting into anything more complicated like a t-shirt, Charlie, because I know for a fact that your t-shirt costs went up because Turning Point USA, the organization that you run that is funneling billionaire money to make sure that these kids keep voting to lower taxes somewhere along the line and destroy the world and maybe conquer Greenland or some shit, that organization that you run uses Gildan t-shirts. And Gildan t-shirts, the blanks that you then get screen printed, those are not made here in America. Where are your t-shirts made, Charlie? They're made in Latin America and Southeast Asia. So your t-shirt costs have gone up. Your costs are going up. You don't buy American. You don't use American labor. You just use American voters.
This breakdown is absolutely devastating. A Florida tangerine literally grown in American soil, and still the entire supply chain got hit. Irrigation hoses, tractor parts, the netting, the labels, the trucks, refrigeration units, the light bulbs in grocery stores. All of it has imported components. All of it just got more expensive, and that cost gets passed straight to consumers who are already struggling. But here's the kill shot. Calling out Turning Point USA for using Gildan t-shirts made in Latin America and Southeast Asia. So this guy's out here telling college kids to buy American while his own organization imports cheap blanks because American manufacturing is expensive and they want profit margins just like everyone else. He's literally profiting off the same system he tells followers to hate, screaming about tariffs while his costs just spiked too. You don't buy American. You don't use American labor. You just use American voters. That's the whole grift exposed in one sentence. Beautiful.
If you have a friend who's a artist or a small business owner, I need you to reach out to them and see how they're doing right now. We are watching our entire livelihoods crumble around us. We're watching us not be able to do this as a job anymore. Everything you see here, all these pins and charms are all of our work, and we have them all manufactured overseas in China. Let me give you an example here. This is our newest charm here, and it costs us about $3 to get this after everything that we paid for it. That means it's going to cost me, after the brand new 125% tariffs, almost $6 to get one of these. And if I wholesale this for $7.50, that means I make an entire $1.50. After the weeks it takes to do the art and all design, after the months it takes to get one of these from start into our hands, we can wholesale this for $1.50. And that's just not something that we can do. We've already had to shut down our wholesale website until something changes. So we're just trying to figure out what we can do to keep doing this for as long as we can, or until the orange man decides to stop playing games with our lives.
Honest and fair question. What did you expect? What did you expect making a TikTok saying that you voted for Trump and now because of the tariffs your business is going to go out of business and you're asking for people on TikTok to help you? I think what's sad for me is it wasn't the fact that he is a misogynistic, sexist, rapist who really has it out for women. That wasn't enough. It wasn't that he's racist and has spewed racist hate, Latino hate, African-American hate. None of that mattered. Like, it didn't matter to you until your pocketbook, your bottom line was affected. So again, what did you expect? I mean, it was pretty brave of you to admit that and to come on and make a TikTok like that, but did you really expect for everyone on TikTok to be like, oh no, I'm so sorry, here's a Cash App, here's some advice? No, you fucked around and now you're finding out. And it's not just that you voted for somebody and now your business is hurt, it's that you didn't fucking care until your business was hurt. That's the fucking issue. I don't feel sorry for you one bit.
Here's what separates this perfectly. It's not that you voted and your business got hurt. It's that you didn't care until your business got hurt. The misogyny, the racism, the hate, policies that hurt other people, all fine, totally acceptable. But the second it affects your bottom line, now you want compassion, now you're on TikTok asking for help, and she probably still doesn't regret the vote. She probably just wishes there was an exception for her industry, like the leopard would eat everyone else's face but not hers. They all thought they were special, exempt from consequences. Look, I'm not celebrating suffering, but when you vote for chaos and then experience chaos, you don't get to act shocked. You fucked around, now you're finding out, and TikTok doesn't owe you a bailout.
Love you, Slayers.
And now China exposing our soybean farmers. You know, they're upset now. Now they're entering the chat because with these reciprocal tariffs that China put on the United States, you know what we import the most? Soybeans. That's right. That's fucking right. So now these soybean farmers are so upset because now they can't sell as much soybean as they want to. The art of the deal, though, right? This is a great businessman. This is a fantastic businessman. You know, he's gonna figure it out for you guys, right? I mean, you know, by then you probably won't have a goddamn farm. By the time all this shit is over with, and he's losing this trading war. I just want y'all to know that the fact that he backed down and said, well, we're gonna add some of these tariffs to we're going to take some of these tariffs off of, your electronics and all that stuff. The main stuff that keeps y'all happy, the iPhones that keep y'all happy, the Nintendo Switches that keep y'all happy, the cars that keep y'all happy over here. Y'all are now realizing how much we get from China. It's not China that is fucking y'all over. It is the United States of America. That's who been fucking y'all over this whole entire time. And China has just exposed that within 1 week. Crazy, my niggas, crazy.
China just destroyed the U.S. in 7 days flat. These soybean farmers spent years supporting policies to punish China. And China said, cool, we'll buy from Brazil instead. And now these farmers are watching their crops rot in silos because their biggest customer ghosted them. And here's the thing, China has options. Brazil's been thriving. Their soybean exports doubled since 2018. They signed long-term contracts and built supply chains. American farmers thought this was temporary, thought China would come crawling back, but why would they? You burned that bridge. Someone else filled the gap. There's no do-overs in international trade. And watch how fast tariffs got removed from electronics, from iPhones and game consoles. The stuff that keeps consumers happy, but farm products? Nah, those tariffs stayed, so you're learning real quick which industries actually have power and which ones just get sacrificed.
My husband just got an email saying that he lost his job because of the tariffs. He's a cargo pilot. And we voted for the lady. We didn't vote for this. This is so uncool. It's like, what are they trying to do? Like, what is happening? I'm sorry that happened, babe. Are you all right?
It's all right. I guess I can...
He'll look for another
get a truck driving license.
The pilot.
The point is, the administration is dead set on maintaining tariffs, which are going to kill my business. If you want to go on the worst roller coaster ride ever, join my business or any other small business in the US right now. 0 out of 10 recommend. For those of you who don't know me, I own a baby product company. I'm a veteran. I'm a mom who invented a baby product. And because I am a very, very small business, US manufacturers don't produce my products. We are too small. It does not make sense for them. They have very, very high expenses. It's not just the cost of labor, it's the cost of their property taxes, their insurance, all the fixed expenses that we have in the US running our businesses. Those are very, very high compared to other countries. It's not just the cost of labor. So for US manufacturers, they need to do bigger production runs so that it covers their costs and that there can still be some profit for both the person making the products and the manufacturers. I have talked to 12 to 14 different factories in the last month, and none of them can do our manufacturing, especially not right now, because we don't have the timeline or the money to start the process. As a recap, we were shipping 2 containers worth of product. April 9th is when it was supposed to ship, and we were not going to make the deadline for the 145% tariff that Trump dropped in our laps. That would have cost us $230,000 when it hit the US soil, which we did not have. So we held our products in China. May 12th, he dropped those tariffs down to 30. We entered into a 90-day agreement with China where tariffs would sit at 30% is what I have to pay when the products come here. China pays 10% when our products go to them. We immediately tried to book a ship to ship our products, and so did everybody else who produces in China. So we couldn't get a ship booked until May 31st. We got 1 container. Our factory repackaged everything and smashed them into boxes that would fit every square inch of the container to get most of it on the boat, which should be leaving tomorrow. The remainder we are sending to a wonderful woman and her sister in South Korea who are starting Busy Baby South Korea, which is very exciting and very cool. And we are shipping some products to Australia so that we can test out Amazon FBA in Amazon Prime in Australia. We did a lot of work in the last month to make this all happen. And we also started production for Q4. We've got 90 days. The only way for us to absorb the 30% tariff is to bundle products together, redo our packaging so that it costs us less at the factory, less cost of packaging, less labor to package the products. We have thought outside the box on a lot of things, and we are going full steam ahead. We are also manufacturing the products at the EU grade of silicone. So in America, Canada, Australia, we use FDA food grade approved silicone. To sell in Europe, It's one step higher silicone, which is more expensive. This time we are paying more to do the European silicone because just in case something happens and our products can't come into the US, we will be able to sell in Europe. Thank God we made that decision. On March 28th, when the courts ruled that Trump's tariffs were illegal, he declared the national emergency about fentanyl and then issued these tariffs under that national emergency. However, the tariffs don't address fentanyl in any way. So the judges said this was illegal, tariffs need to go away. Of course, they appealed it right away. And now he's just going to find another way to make the tariffs stay in effect for some other reason. We were excited temporarily about this court ruling. And then, of course, it was appealed. And now it has to go to the Supreme Court, which we could still have optimism for, because the facts of the matter are Congress is who should be running tariffs, not the president. Because our administration loves to be dramatic, because our president loves to change things swiftly and drastically, I'm afraid of what's about to happen next. I did say at the beginning of this 90-day pause that I don't believe it's going to be a 90-day pause. And this morning he posted on his own social media that China has somehow broken the agreement. I don't know how. And there's no more Mr. Nice Guy. To me, that means he's going to change the tariffs again, meaning the 90-day pause to keep the tariffs at 30%, which I can kind of plan on, is now completely up in the air, and we have no idea what's going to happen. In the meantime, my product was stranded for 8 weeks. My warehouse is almost empty, and I don't have very much income coming in the meantime. I still have fixed expenses like my insurance, like my lease, electric bill, my employees. I have to continue to pay them, and I have to find a way to do that with very little sales because we're running out of all of our products. And now when our products do get here, mid-July, there might be a 200% tariff. And for me, it's too late. My products are already loaded on the boat. I can't leave them in China and wait until this straightens out. So, not a great tariff update this week. Not great at all.
The resilience here is incredible, but heartbreaking. She's doing everything right, pivoting to South Korea, testing Australia, switching to EU-grade silicone as insurance, redesigning packaging, bundling products differently to save costs, completely rebuilding her supply chain on the fly. She's a veteran, a mom, an inventor with an actual product people need. And she's about to lose everything, not because her business failed, but because policy changes daily based on whatever gets posted on social media that morning. One day it's 145% tariffs, then 30%, then a 90-day pause, then no more Mr. Nice Guy threatening to spike them back up. How do you plan? How do you budget? How do you make business decisions when the rules are rewritten every week? You can't, and that's the point. This isn't governance, it's chaos, and small businesses are drowning in it, while her products sit on a boat in the ocean right now, with no idea what rate will be waiting when they dock. It's economic torture.
Not a good time to be a small business owner. The people I want to tell you about, the people who it sucks to be a small business owner right now, are people who do manufacture in the US. I have two friends who make skin and hair care products. They make their products in the US. However, the packaging for their products comes from overseas. So they can no longer create their products because they can't get the jars and tubes that it goes in. My very favorite company that I've worked with for 5 years, who does all of our marketing, email and text message marketing for us, I love them. They're like family, and we had to end our contract with them because I can't afford to pay them anymore. I have to cut every expense possible right now. They are an American business that has grown significantly in the last 5 years. I've watched them hire more people, watched them grow. They do amazing work. And I'm sure I am not the only one cutting their services right now. They have nothing to do with manufacturing. They have nothing to do with importing. They support U.S. small businesses, but now they're losing thousands and thousands of dollars of monthly revenue that they plan on because people like me can't afford to pay them anymore. I'm hoping to stay in business. Many companies are just going out of business. And for all of the people who want to come after me because I just shouldn't manufacture in China, find me a manufacturer in the US that will do it at a price that makes any sense at all for a business, and I will talk to them. I've talked to many already, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful. It's not because they're jerks. They are businesses, and businesses need to make a profit. So this just sucks, and it's not getting any better. Unfortunately, that is my update for this week.
So this is what's going on. A lot of Trump and MAGA voters are urging the president to reverse his course on tariffs because it's crushing their businesses, their families, and their homes. Y'all, I think these people are crazy as hell. Donald Trump ain't gonna reverse nothing. The tariffs are in full effect, and he's not going to break ranks and go against the tariffs because it's making the federal government a lot of money, billions of dollars. He really doesn't care if your small business hurts. Again, y'all voted for this. All right, so now these Republicans and MAGA voters and Democrats who voted for him saying their small businesses are getting crushed. Well, I mean, that's why we got big businesses too, Amazon and Walmart and everywhere. If you're not going to make it, it's your fault. You should have never voted for the man. He told you he was going to raise tariffs. Now, y'all didn't believe it was going to hurt you like this, but it did. So MAGA voters, Republican voters, Democrat voters, everybody who voted for Donald Trump, who's losing money because you didn't plan correctly and accordingly, that's not the president's fault. That's your fault. He's not going to change his mind on tariffs. That's the way it is.
Here's the lesson learned the hard way. You can't vote for chaos and expect exemption. Can't champion policies that hurt people and cry when they hurt you. These small business owners are casualties of their own choices, their own refusal to listen when everyone warned them. Economics is arithmetic, not politics, and when decisions don't add up, the numbers catch you. Drop a comment. Do they deserve help, or is this the free market they love? Hit that like button, share it, and subscribe because this circus isn't over. See you next time.